What is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic as always. Thank you so much for tuning into today's video. And I know you guys clicked on it because you want to see the track footage, which we're going to get to in literally just a few moments. But as a quick, unfortunate disclaimer, my best session at the track was recorded on my GoPro in time-lapse mode, unfortunately, which I was not able to slow down the footage or transition it in a way that could make the footage usable. So you're going to be seeing a little mashup of two separate clips. One is from my first session and the other is from my fourth session. Now the first session, well, it was my first time out on this track, so I'm just learning it. I'm definitely going a lot slower than I was later throughout the day. And then the last session, you guys will see, I ran into a few kind of scary moments where I just sort of lost confidence with the car. You'll see in the commentary that I provide later on, unfortunately. So bear with me in that aspect, but regardless, I think you guys will like it. After the footage, we're going to cut to the M4. I'm going to show you guys the quote-unquote aftermath of a track day and what to expect, how it affects your car cosmetically and even mechanically, and we'll touch up on just a few other things. Now, if you guys could please smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to my YouTube channel down below if you have not done so already. I'd appreciate that a ton. With all that being said, let's get right into it. Alrighty, so welcome to the track footage, everybody. As you can see, this is actually my first session out, and my friend Cheyenne is actually a passenger riding with me in the car, and he's actually recording off of his phone. You'll see later in this clip we actually got black flagged because neither of us knew you're just not supposed to record. I mean, it kind of makes sense now thinking on it, but just exiting turn 2 right here, and you could see just kind of tailing this E30 BMW at Big Willow. Definitely a very interesting track. Big Willow is a very famous racetrack. It's a very old and renowned racetrack. This was my first time ever coming to this facility, and I gotta say it was a very intimidating racetrack to drive on. There are a lot of sections of the track that are just very, almost like, it's just tough to kind of gauge brake zones. It's very high speed. There's just a lot of elevation changes, and if you do go off, which a lot of cars do go off on this track, a lot of the dirt is very uneven, and it's actually not uncommon if you do get into an accident where your car can actually flip. But again, you know, that's not what I was thinking about. That's not what was on my mind. Unfortunately, the one good session that I had caught on camera was recorded in time-lapse mode on my GoPro, which was a shame. So here we are. This is my first session again, like I said, and then we'll skip to another clip later on, which is, I think, my 4th or 5th session, which was all right. Just coming down the main straight, entering into turn 1. This is definitely one of those turns where you got to kind of watch out, brake a little bit, very high speed. Turn 2, we're coming in here. According to a couple of friends that I was talking with, you really don't even have to brake on this big turn, and it technically is like a double apex. And you can carry anywhere between 75 to 100 miles an hour through it. I think I was averaging 80, 82 miles an hour. Coming out onto this little stretch of road right here into turn 3. This is definitely a very awkward section. They call this the Omega. You're supposed to take that entry point into turn 3 really wide so that you can get a clean apex, line yourself up with the Budweiser sign, and then come back in and get yourself set up for turn 4. But it's just a tricky section. It's very weird. It's very awkward. The car felt good overall, but it was definitely squirrely. Just the OEM Pilot Supersport tires were not up to par, in my opinion, and they were overheating pretty quickly as the day went on.
You get Blackwall.
Anyway, moving into this next clip, I do apologize. The camera angle is a little bit awkward. It's just not my day for filming on this track. I think I was just more focused on driving. Past my buddy Jason and his M4 as well. Here we are onto turn 8, which is a big sweeper, carry a lot of speed through it. And then approaching turn 9, which is probably one of the trickiest and most psychologically impeding turns on this track. It takes a lot of balls to finally just convince yourself mentally that you just need to send it through that turn. and accelerate out, because that will set you up for your next lap. And obviously this is the main straight. About 142 miles an hour. Braked a little too late here. As you can see, I was running into some understeer. Brakes were definitely getting hot. I'm running the G-Lock R16 pads in the front, R8 pads in the rear. And yeah, I had Motul 600 RBF fluid in there. RBF 600 fluid, excuse me, in there. And at this point I was starting to lose some confidence in the car. The car was just, the tires were getting really slick. The track was starting to get a little damp. It was drizzling out. And then right here, it was actually kind of scary. I braked way too late into turn 3, ran into more understeer. And as you can see, I just had to slow the car down. And after that, I started to lose confidence in this session. And I think I did another lap and then pulled into the pits. Also, you see I'm kind of gripping the steering wheel kind of awkwardly with my right hand. My arms were just getting tired, and I don't know, maybe I'm just incredibly weak or something, but when you're just like throwing the car into corner after corner, lap after lap, your arms like get tired. And so I don't know, sometimes I just found it a little easier to grip the steering wheel that way. Probably not the best in terms of good form, but again, this was just a really fantastic learning experience. It was just so much fun to rip on this car. This car is so fast. It has so much power. And even at the stock level, you know, it's a beast. So the KW suspension was set to the softest setting. I didn't have a track alignment or anything. Put the OEM wheels on just to get a baseline. And really, I mean, for how unprepared I was, I mean, I don't know, I was pretty happy with how the car did. And it's just good to improve on my driver skill and just get more seat time in. As much as I love going to the track, it is very expensive. Go through a lot of gas, go through a lot of, you know, maintenance, whether it's pads or brake fluid, oil changes, and then the cost of registering and all that. And then obviously it does put a fair amount of wear and tear on the car, but you know, these F8X cars are built so well they can handle it no problem. My personal best for the day was a 141.6, which I was bummed with personally. I really wanted to break sub 140 into the high 30s, which I think I was on track for during my best session, but unfortunately I just wasn't carrying enough speed through turn 8 and turn 9. I think it's just breaking that psychological barrier of just saying, hey, you know, I don't need to hit the brakes this much. I can just let off the throttle, trust the car, carry it into the turn, maintain your speed. And from there, you know, you can really shave down quite a bit on your lap times. But I was getting very consistent, you know, very low 140 times, like 141, 142s all day long. So I don't know, for my first time out, for me being as relatively inexperienced as I am on track, I'm happy with how the car performed and how I did. But of course, there's plenty of room to improve with, and that'll definitely come with more skill, more track days, and more seat time. So I think from here, things I'm probably going to do, just get a good set of brake pads. The G-Locks felt good, but I don't know, I really want to try the PFC 08s. I have a lot of friends running those and they swear by them. Gonna continue to make sure the brake fluid is good on the car. Gonna run the Motul RBF 660. Some people really like Castrol SRF, but I'm just not at that skill level to where I need to be running such expensive brake fluid. I have a ways to go before I get to that level. And aside from that, just some grippier tires, like some Nitto NT01s, maybe the Nankang AR1. The Pilot Super Sports, they're a decent tire, but it's just, the setup is so, it's just not enough tire from the factory for this car. It needs a wider tire, it needs a grippier compound, and there was just a major lack of grip. I mean, I had MDM on. You guys can probably see based off the footage how often MDM was flashing, because at every moment the car was just trying to like step out on me, and it can get a little worrisome at times because, you know, you can kind of lose some confidence in the car. So it teaches you a lot of like throttle control, a lot of throttle management, and you know, when is a good point to get on and let off the gas as well. So again, like I said, just learning so much about the car. Also, under heavy braking, I noticed the car was doing some side-to-side shimmying. I looked it up. Apparently it's normal. It's kind of one of the drawbacks of these cars under braking, but aside from that, the brakes held up really well and they performed well. I'd say it's a major success. Just so many good friends out there, good people, and it was just a great time hanging out, riding along with everyone, learning the track, and just getting out and driving. So really can't complain. But anyway, the footage is about to end. As you can see right here, I pulled off into the pit lane, and let's go ahead and pick up the camera and we'll take a look at some of the aftermath of the car. Alrighty, so pulled the car out of the garage, just took it down the street. I just wanted to show you guys kind of how the car has held up after just one track day, maybe for some of you guys that might be new or interested into tracking your car. This was the first track day I did with this car, but not my first track day in an M4. So first things first, you can see this wheel is really filthy. Obviously that's normal, but if I can zoom in just a little bit, you can see the brake pads right there. Those are the G-Lock R16s in the front. If you come over to the rear of the car, and I apologize, my shadow keeps getting in the way, you can see the G-Lock R8 pads. Now, one thing is, I replaced these pretty late. I replaced them the day before the track day started, so I didn't really get to bed the pads in that well, and some of that bedding process did sort of occur on the track, which is just a major bonehead move on my part. I also did my brake fluid with Motul RBF 600, as I mentioned in the commentary, and overall the brakes felt pretty good, although I would say definitely bed them in prior to going to the track. The tires held up well. These are the Michelin Pilot Super Sports. One thing that definitely helps that I did at the track, thanks to one of my friends, was bleed a lot of the air pressure from the tires. So when you're driving fast on the track, obviously your tires get really hot, and particularly this tire, the driver's side front tire, took a massive beating at Big Willow because so much of the track is right-hand sweepers, and so all the cornering load is on this front left tire, excuse me. And so it got really hot. Now what happens is, as the tire gets hotter, the air pressure expands, and obviously your tire pressure goes up. So what you want to do is actually bleed around 5 to 6 PSI out of your tires. So I think I was at like 26, 27 PSI on the tires, and then by the time I got off the track on my session, they were inflated to about 31, 32. So that definitely helps a lot with grip. You don't want to have overinflated tires because you will definitely feel a lot less confidence with the car when you're driving it. As you can see, the front bumper definitely got pretty dirty, but no real chips or anything, just a lot of dirt, a lot of like rubber marks and stuff from driving so hard. But overall, I mean, the car held up great, you know, especially for how relatively unprepared I was. This thing just performed so well, and it never faltered on me. Same thing with my last M4, you know, I never had any issues with it, and it's just been great. It really just needs a wash, and so, you know, after I finish filming this video, that's probably what I'm going to do, is just wash the car. But I'm just so happy with this thing, and I just can't wait to do more track days in it. I'm very excited to continue you know, exploring what this car can do. Next up, like I said, we're going to be doing a track alignment for the car, a corner balance, going to get my KW suspension dialed in as well, and from there, you know, we'll see how it goes. So I also have some track wheels coming in. Hopefully I can get some new tires as well, and I also just want to do some more cosmetic mods. I really want to get a front lip for this car, some side skirts, a rear diffuser, and just make it look killer, you know. The only thing left that I have to do in terms of chrome deletion is these side markers. So hopefully I'll get those blacked out as well pretty soon, and we can go from there. And then maybe we can start with some bolt-ons for the engine, charge pipes, down pipes, all that good stuff. That is going to conclude it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you stayed to the very end of the video, I appreciate that a ton. Please, as always, make sure to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe to my YouTube channel down below if you have not done so already, for more epic track content, for more reviews, for more vlogs, commentaries, and informational videos related to a variety of European sports cars. I would appreciate that a ton, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.